Welcome everyone to my latest Let's Play, Mega Man 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I'll be playing it on the Wii Virtual Console. So this is the first Mega Man game that has an intro to it, so I'll read it off here. In the year 2000X, a super robot named Mega Man was created. Dr. Light created Mega Man to stop the evil desires of Dr. Wily. However, after his defeat, Dr. Wily created 8 of his own robots to counter Mega Man. And we'll be taking on those 8 robots here. Yeah, so they added 2 more robots from Mega Man 1. And they added a few other things here to make things a little bit easier. So, speaking of making things easier, in the American release version, they toned the difficulty down. We can select the normal difficulty, but I'm just going to go with the default difficult, which is the difficulty that was in Japan. So we have our 8 Robot Masters. Similar to Mega Man 1, it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors, where certain Robot Masters are weak against the weapons of other Robot Masters. So I'm going to start off with Airman, because he's weak against the Wood Shield. And the Wood Shield's kind of cumbersome to use against him, so it's pretty easy to take him out with the regular, your standard weapon, your pea shooter. So we'll start with him first. We also get a pretty good item when we defeat Airman. So in the Mega Man 1, we had the Magnet Beam, which allowed us to like traverse some tricky sections. In this game, we're going to get 3 items. We're going to get item 1, which is kind of like a little helicopter platform which just rises straight up. You can put 3 of them on the screen at a time. Item 2, which we'll get from defeating Airman here, which is like a rocket sled, which allows you to go across large horizontal pits. And then the final one is item 3, and you get that is like a kind of like a crawling machine that crawls up walls. So it allows you to scale walls that you won't be able to jump over. So none of those items are necessary to defeat any of the regular stages, because you can select the stages in any order that you want here. It's non-linear in that sense. But they will be necessary for, you know, the Dr. Wily stages. But getting some of them do make some stages easier. For instance, getting the item 2 here will make Heatman stage much easier. So that's another reason why I want to start off with Airman here. So Airman's can be kind of a tricky stage. We got a lot of, you know, a lot of platforms we got to jump from. As the name implies, the stage is taking place in the air, in the sky. So a lot of tricky jumping we got to do here. Jumps can be a little bit tricky here because we have these fan fiends that are blowing air toward us, which pushes you back, makes you jump a little. Makes your jumps a little harder, and these birds that come by, if they drop their eggs, the eggs will split into a little bunch of tiny birds. So, but that's the first Airman stage here. We're gonna take on our first boss here, Airman, and he does a pattern where he shoots 3 waves of these tornadoes at you, and then afterwards he's gonna jump across the screen, and he's gonna repeat the pattern. So, the Wood Shield is his weakness, but it has a very large hitbox, so oftentimes those tornadoes will block the Wood Shield. So we just take them out with our regular arm cannon, and we get this little equip screen where we get our item, and then we'll also, in certain stages, we'll get a certain item. We'll get this message from Dr. Light. So, as I mentioned earlier, we get the item 2, which is the jet sled from Airman. You get item 3, the wall climber from Flashman, and you get item 1, the like helicopter little thingy from Heatman. So, but we're not going to be facing any of those 2 bosses next. What we'll be facing next, we'll be facing Crashman. He is weak to the air shooter, and after each boss I will show you the password, so in case you want to take it down there, you can just pause it and check it out. So, and here we're on to our second robot boss, Crashman. Crashman stage is kind of similar to, I guess, Electman stage in the first game, where it's going to be mainly vertical. So we got these floating pipe people here who come out and they can make things difficult because they can knock you off the ladder. Just try to take out a few of them and clear the way before you try to head up. Now, even though that rocket sled that we got, item 2, is mainly used for crossing horizontal, like difficult sections, like large pits, we will get some use out of it in this vertical section coming up to make things a little bit easier. So it also helps us to get an item later on too. So we can select this little jet sled, place it on the thing, jump on it, and then we can avoid having to ride this little platform, this little train type thing all the time. Because it can be a little bit annoying, especially in this one here, because you see the track is very, very long. So it can be a long ride, and the longer you're on the platform, obviously, the more likely you are to get hit by one of these floating pipe people and get knocked off. So luckily, we're done with the track section here, and we're going to have the rest of the stage is mainly going to be a large vertical climb. So we got these guys on the difficulty, on normal difficulty, one shot takes them out. With the hard difficulty, it takes 2 shots. After the first shot, they're gonna split up. So, but got a lot of ladder climbing to do here. This section's not too bad with ladder climbing, but the next section will be, because we're gonna have a return of those birds from Airman stage, who are gonna be dropping eggs. So now we have 2 choices, the left or the right. We want to head up the right section first. So if you don't have any items though, if you don't have like item 2 or item 1, you might want to go up the left section, but since we have item 2, we're going to head up the right section. There's a little less enemies on on the right section. So that's everything. I also equipped the air shooter. What the air shooter does, it kind of shoots a whole bunch of tornadoes up, kind of at a 45-degree angle. So it's a pretty powerful weapon. It takes out a lot of enemies. So we would have taken the left side if you didn't have the item. If you didn't have the item 2, but since we had item 2, we took the right side. We can get that energy refill tank, and then we can use the 2 sled to get back up to this area, and then also to climb this left ladder to reach a 1-up. Here we have one of my favorite enemies, the prop tops. They are like little helicopter guys that they pull a string on themselves to make them jump. So air shooter takes them out in 1 hit. Like I said, the air shooter is very, very powerful. And it's going to be very powerful here against Crashman. You can actually take Crashman out in 1 hit here if you time it right. The hitboxes on the tornadoes that Mega Man shoots kind of overlap sometimes, and if you hit him with all 3 at the same time, that'll take him out in 1 hit. Quite a few bosses, especially in the normal difficulty, can be defeated with 1 hit. So, for instance, Crashman can be hit, if you time it right, can be defeated with 1 shot of the air shooter. Quickman coming up here, who's weak against the crash bombs, can be taken out with 1 explosion. Metal Man can be taken out in 1 hit with his own weapon, and Woodman can be taken out in 1 hit with a fully charged heat beam. So, but here's Quickman. He can be a little bit. His stage can be a little bit tricky without the flash stopper. But it is possible to do it without the flash stopper. So that's how we're gonna do it here, because we want to get his quick boomerangs, which is a pretty good weapon. And more importantly, the quick boomerangs are the weakness to Metal Man, and Metal Man, everyone says, has the best weapon for several reasons, but we'll go over that when we get that weapon. So I'm going to head down to the right here, because we're going to be able to pick up another 1-up and another E-Tank. E-Tanks are a new addition to the series. What the E-Tank does is you select it, and when you use it, it refills your energy, so it makes bosses a little bit easier, because you can basically like double your life against them. Would come really handy against the rock monster in the Mega Man 1. It would have made the boss rush against Wily's in the last Wily stage, much easier in Mega Man 1 too. So if you remember in that Let's Play, I actually took 2 deaths on Dr. Wily because he had to fight his 4 robot bosses right before him, right in a row, and those robot bosses, you only have 1 life meter to take them all out. So this is the tough section. If you have the Flash Stopper from Flashman, you can freeze these beams, but you know, like I say, you don't really need it. As long as you're moving fast, you should be okay. Yeah, those things are 1 hit and one kill, basically. So we use our powerful air shooter there. They can take out those mech walkers in 1 hit. It may take 2 hits depending on how many of the little tornadoes you hit the guy with, but the air shooter can also take these guys out, Sniper Joes, fairly easily. But you have to get really close to them. So the air shooter will be good right here when we're lower than him. But if we're on the same level as him, we won't be able to hit him with the air shooter and dodge really in time. So now, Robot Masters tend to have 1 major weakness, but they also have kind of a soft weakness. So Quickman can also be dealt with pretty decently with the air shooter. Deals quite a bit of damage to him. So we'll use the air shooter for a little bit here, and then we'll use the we'll go to the crash bomb. So we can catch Quickman in a explosion there on the crash bomb, and that'll deal a whole bunch of damage. That's the way you can take him out in 1 hit. If you shoot a crash bomb on the wall, it blows up and he gets caught in the entire explosion. Takes him out in 1 hit, but we didn't do that. We just used the air shooter for a little bit, and then hit him with a few crash bombs. So now we get the quick boomerangs, and just like a boomerang, it will travel out and then it will turn back. It doesn't use a lot of weapon energy. You shoot 3 out at a time, and the quick boomerang can be pretty good because it doesn't use a lot of energy, and its arc, while it isn't very far, it doesn't cross the whole screen. It does travel low, so it can take out some low enemies that normally Mega Man's regular weapon will pass over. And we'll see that with a few enemies here in the Metal Man stage that we're gonna go after. So he'll be our last boss we're gonna take out in this episode, because like Mega Man 1, we'll do half the Robot Masters here in the first episode, then half in the next. So this stage we have a real nice easy E-tag right here, right at the beginning. Just gotta watch the conveyor belts. They push you in the direction that the arrow is facing, that blinking arrow. Try to avoid getting hit by the spike crushers there like how I just did, but luckily we'll have a chance to refill our life here in a little bit, because one of the things about Metal Man stages, there's going to be these sections where these little like screws come out of the ceiling and the floor, and you can just you know, farm up energy on them. So there's what the quick boomerang does. We can shoot up to 3 out at a time, and they, as you can see, they don't use too much weapon energy, so there'll be quite a few later bosses that are weak against 2 bosses, actually, to be precise, in Dr. Wily's castle that are weak against the quick boomerang. So I just wanted to get through that section real quick there. We can use an energy refill tank earlier on. You can only have 4 of them at max, and we're going to actually get another energy refill tank later on in this stage. So yeah, they have to get 2 energy refill tanks in this stage. So I'm not worried about my energy too much, because I'll be able to refill it with an energy tank later, and not really lose too much. So now we have these clowns that come down on gears. If you shoot the clown before you destroy the gear will just roll out towards you. If you destroy the gear before the clown lands on it, then the clown will just fall straight down. So, but most likely what's going to happen is the clown's going to land on the gear, you're going to destroy the gear, and then you know, destroy the clown as he's falling. So there we are. You saw what an energy refill tank did there. It brought my life back up to full, so handy. This stage you can only have 4 of them, so if you have 4 of them and you see another one, you might as well just use it. fill up your energy and then just get the fourth one to refill it. So there's another energy tank. It'll replace the one that we just lost. We're going to jump down here and hold left, and then we'll use our item number 2 to cross this vertical section. This little pit there, oh, this horizontal pit. So here's where the quick boomerangs can come in handy. These guys normally wouldn't be able to defeat them with a regular pea shooter. First, they're invulnerable to it, and 2, they're too low to the ground. But the quick boomerang, when it returns back to you, it comes back toward the floor. So it's definitely able to hit them. So we're also going to use our quick boomerangs here on Metal Man. It can be a little bit tricky because of the conveyor belt. It reverses directions. Metal Man will try to stay as far away from you as possible, so if you get over to the left, he'll jump over to the right. When you basically get to the middle of the screen, he will jump to the opposite side that he's on. So when we take him out, we're going to get the metal blades, which pretty much are the best weapon, like everyone agrees with, because many robots are weak to them, many bosses are weak to them. Either it's their weakness or it's their soft weakness. And they don't use a lot of energy, similar to the quick boomerangs, and they can also be thrown in all 8 directions. So yeah, very versatile weapon. So, but now we have half the robot masters taken off. There's our password, and I'll meet you back here in our next episode. Take care, bye.